Hello and welcome back to the woods at Lone Pine Tarot. I hope you're having a calm day or night wherever you are. As for me, I'm super excited to be back after the little break I took last Sunday. For today's reading, I wanted to delve into the ripple, or as it's sometimes known, the butterfly effect. As you know, this is the idea that one small action today could massively impact something in the future, like ripples shimmering across a pond from just one small pebble thrown. So today we'll be exploring the action or the change itself, as well as its ripple effect in your future, should you choose to take that action or that change. With that being said, though, let's choose your piles. Today we're choosing with tarot decks. Over here on the left for pile 1, you're choosing with the Justice card from the Mindscapes Tarot. In the middle for pile 2, you have the Justice card from the Spacious Tarot. And on the right for pile 3, you have the Justice card from the Cat's Eye Tarot. Pause here if you need an extra moment to decide, of course, but when you're ready, your timestamp is waiting in the description. I'll see you in your reading. Hello there, pile number 1. Welcome to your ripple effect reading for today. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the Mindscapes Tarot. But when we draw with tarot cards, if you're familiar with my videos, you'll know I always put the main pile leader back into the deck, so it is available for the message later if need be. But we're actually going to start with the mini tarot today, just to get some more context from Spirit on what part of your life this potential change / action and then the ripple effect would be oriented around. So let's do that right now. Calling on Spirit for your highest, best good. Spirit, could you tell me more about, well, this potential ripple effect that pile 1 could enact upon? Okay, we already have, wow, okay, that's a lot of cards. They all just kind of flipped out. That might already be 4. We'll check. So let's see. We have this one is very beautiful. We have Strength, number 8. So there's the first one. Then we have the 5 of Swords reversed. Next up, we have the 2 of Pentacles. And last but not least, we have the Hermit reversed. And like I said, I was spot on. That's exactly 4 cards, which is exactly the ones that I wanted to pull today for that first set of tarot cards. Okay, so let's look at all of this in totality. Pile 1. Strength often refers to areas of life where we have either needed courage or there's something that we're fearing that Spirit wants us to feel courage or feel brave enough to address. Okay, so that's the first energy coming through. Is it something in your life where maybe you've been kind of afraid to enact this change? Maybe you've been a little bit timid about going forward with something? And the other cards bring even more context. So the 5 of Swords reversed tends to be about ending conflict, especially harsh conflicts. So that can be ending strife, ending struggle, and because it's a Swords card, which is one of the air cards in tarot, elementally speaking, it tends to relate especially to communication conflict and things that have been said. And compared to, say, like if you'd gotten the 5 of Wands, which can be kind of a competition card, this one is more about like intense things. Okay, so it's something important. It's something that's you could do to reduce tension and conflict somewhere. Then we have the 2 of Pentacles, which is kind of similar, but it's more in a resource material way, because the 2 of Pentacles, as illustrated by the guy there with, he's balancing the 2 almost like a juggler. It's about juggling different things in life, especially resources and like job related things and money, because it is a pentacle suit card, which is earth, and earth element in tarot often, deals with those things, or career, money, and finances, etc. But it can mean anything in general. So it's about to just balancing, making sure we're able to keep things steady. You can even see like the ships in the background here on quite wavy, stormy seas, right? But they're still managing to keep upright. Everything's okay. And then last but not least, we have the Hermit reversed, which is often about something where we have been thinking very deeply about either something that's been bothering us or something that we want to do, or it's just that, like the title, hence, the titular hermit. We've been in a cave of some sort. We've been wondering about this, like, I wonder about this part of society, or I wonder about this goal in my life, or I wonder about this thing that I've always wanted to do. It's that kind of introverted, introspective energy. But when it's reversed, the hermit comes out of his cave. He takes that light of wisdom that he has in his lantern there that he found because he took that time to think, right? And he brings it out and he shines it out more. So just to summarize in totality, pile 1, Spirit is referring here to an action you could take that's about something that maybe you've been timid about, or it would require some bravery or courage, something that would reduce conflict, something that involves kind of juggling or stabilizing things, especially when it comes to, say, job, finances, resources, money. And on top of that, it's something that you've been thinking about a lot and you almost feel maybe ready on the cusp to come forward with it, but maybe you still just need that tiny little last push over the edge of uncertainty from Spirit, hence why Strength was the first card that popped out. They're trying to encourage you, yes, tackle that lion, tame that lion, and go from that energy of the introverted hermit out to, okay, now I'm going to shine this light out there more. So a lot of you, this could be so many different things. It could be a personal project of some sort. It could be like something that you wanted to do at, say, if you're currently at a job, like you really wanted to do something at this job, but you feel a bit timid about bringing it up, maybe a certain project or improvement that you've been thinking about. It could be starting a business, could be writing a book, it could be literally anything. Whatever has been making you feel these emotions recently and these thoughts that we have discussed with the context cards, okay? But, of course, we still have other cards to choose from, so we'll first pick your oracle cards, starting with the Sacred Destiny Oracle. Spirit, what else do you want to say to pile 1 about this? And we'll also, like I said in the intro, discuss not just the action you could take, but on top of that, as I said, what's the ripple effect if you do? So we'll see what pops forward here. Feeling drawn to this one right here. We have openness with the moon. Very beautiful. Lots of constellations here. You can see Gemini, Pisces, Leo right there too. Speaking of lions, there's Leo, just like the Strength card. And the full moon is all about, we have brought something to its zenith, to its totality, its greatest fullness, okay? Something to its peak is another really good way to put that. And openness is like opening a dialogue of some sort. I think a lot of you, the issue is you've just been afraid to speak about it. That could also be where this 5 of Swords energy is coming in reversed, where it's just like you want to speak about it, but you're not sure of like the conflict it might cause, or you're not sure of like what are the consequences if you do bring this up. So it might not even be that an actual conflict or fight has occurred. It's perhaps that you're fearing one, pile 1, okay? But this card is, number 1, encouraging you to be open, just like the clouds unveiling the moon. Unveil this thing that you have been hiding in the dark, just like the moon hiding in, behind the clouds in the dark sky, pile 1. But also, it could also be that part of the goal of, say, this personal project or business or whatever it is that you've been thinking about is to bring something to greater light. I wonder too if you might even get, like, say, the sun as your main tarot cards, or just like the pile leader, you might even get justice too. That's kind of the energy I'm feeling off of this, like bringing something to light, bringing something a little bit more out in the open, hence the openness card. A little bit more transparent is probably a really good word to use with that as well, like greater transparency with something. Greater transparency as well with how to balance things, okay? So far, it seems like the action is they want you to embark on this particular thing that you have been fearing, or have been afraid to speak up about, or to voice your intention or passion for. We'll see what else comes through. Okay, definitely the back one here. Okay. We have Life Force, speaking of passion, number 41, with Joy Guides. Follow your joy. Here's the thing, pile 1. I think you're timid about it, but deep down you're still really excited about it. That's why Joy Guides came forward with that card, I think. It's something that is so ingrained in what you care about in this world and what you're passionate about. Hence, just, look at the fire she's holding in her hands. It's not just that she's holding it in her hands, and it's not just warming herself. They radiate out like heat waves, just like we were talking about in the intro with something being a ripple effect. So I think too, it might also be partially a goal or thing that you want to do that's like keeps people warm. I don't know if it's like helping the homeless in some way as well, or making there like greater transparency around helping the homeless in some way, or people that are down on their luck or are vulnerable, I guess is probably a better way to put that. I'm especially feeling drawn to that. It feels like a charitable work for some of you as well along those lines. like making sure basic needs are met too. Maybe that's what the balancing finances is about. It could be like balancing finances in terms of like trying to raise money for a charitable act in that way. I wonder too if you might also get the Six of Pentacles from your main tarot spread. Speaking of, let's look at that right now. Yeah, so like I said, Justice, I wouldn't be shocked. The Sun, I wouldn't be shocked if it came out. Six of Pentacles, if it came out, I would not be shocked. Spirit, what else do you want to say to pile 1 about this? And then can we also discuss with the last cards too, what's the ripple effect from this, should they choose to? Like, why would you, or why are you encouraging them for this goal that they have? Number 1, we have the King of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so King of Pentacles reversed often talks about areas in life, especially when it comes to external manifestation, because it is, you know, masculine energy card, where things have been out of balance in terms of money, finances, careers, things like that, especially when it comes to stability. It's kind of similar to the Two of Pentacles in that way, pile 1, because, you know, Two of Pentacles is someone juggling the money and the finances, and a King of Pentacles reversed is literally like the inability to master manifesting money and success with career in life. So it could also be helping people to like find jobs. It could be a goal related to helping people. Well, here's the other thing too, is as a court card, King of Pentacles can actually represent a person as well. And a King of Pentacles reversed especially is someone that tends to be masculine energy, tends to be a bit older, or comes off as mature even if not physically older. However, because of the reversed energy, there's someone who is not very generous with their money. They're not very sharing with their money. Now, it could be a literal person, pile 1, or it could also just be like society in general. Maybe you kind of see that way, hence why you're drawn to, perhaps for some of you, you resonate with like the charitable act kind of goal that I was explaining earlier. Okay. But either way, it's like helping people where they need it, especially when it comes to earthly things like money, as I said, or job things. Because I wonder if, because this is also the inciting incident card, so it's kind of like, what did this all stem from, pile 1? I wonder if a lot of you didn't have that stability yourself earlier in your life, and you're kind of said to yourself, I want to make sure that the same thing that happened to me doesn't happen to anyone else ever again. Okay, it's that kind of feeling of, there's an injustice here, especially with that money job thing, and it's like, I don't want someone to have to experience that injustice either. Okay, that's kind of the at least vibe I'm getting off of this. And then we have another king, look at this, but we have the King of Spires or Swords upright. So I think that might actually represent you, pile 1, even if you're not technically a masculine air sign, or if you don't have a lot of like air sign placement in your astrological chart. But I say that because it's like, especially one king coming out after another, especially, you know, first there was a reversed king and now there's an upright king. I kind of see that as, okay, here's a king that's going to come in and fix this problem that the other king dropped the ball on, so to speak, okay? And a King of Swords is someone who is a master of manifesting things and controlling or like stabilizing the things around them when it comes to logic and communication, just like we were talking about with that Five of Swords earlier, reverse, like, you know, something kind of gets lost in translation, or there's like a conflict of some sort. A King of Swords is the exact energy that fixes like Five of Swords reversed energy. Okay, so that's why I said it might be you represented by this. Like, you had this problem in your own past, or you saw this injustice and you're like, you know what, I want to fix this. I want to climb this mountain. I want to scale it. I want to, and, you know, too, it's like planting a flag. Like, you might be the first person to do this thing. Maybe that's part of why you were a bit afraid to even try it, pile 1, because oftentimes when we're the first person to attempt something, like, there's no blueprint. There's no surety or certainty in, you know, if I embark on this thing, what does cresting the mountain even look like? Like, you might not even exactly know, because I think this might be something quite innovative compared to what's been done before. And if that's the case, pile 1, that's exactly, if you're resonating with that, that's exactly what you're being pushed towards here, okay? And now we'll get to the third card, the Four of Cups. We have a boat borne upon the waters. There we go. And it's actually Polaris in that, I believe it's the brightest star here. Yes, Polaris there at the very top. However, you know, the Four of Cups often talks about ignoring something or being apathetic about something. So I think that's also part of what you're drawn to, is something that people often ignore that you don't want to be ignored anymore. It's like this blinding, bright thing, just like Polaris being, you know, a very, well, it's not, I guess it's not super bright, but it's an important star, right? We navigate, or at least we used to before GPS, with a lot of stars, just like Polaris, the North Star. And so you're like, this is like the thing that we should be guiding ourselves by, or society should be guiding itself by, but yet with the Four of Cups, it's like, people are just kind of ignoring it. It's something that people easily ignore too. Okay. Now we're getting into the ripple effect here though. So this is like the future effect of this. If you choose to go and embark on this goal, right? Or this passion that you have. We have the Devil reversed, which is a beautiful energy when it's reversed, pile 1. That often means that you will free somebody or yourself from something, which, especially if you're trying to free, say, people from, poverty, or free people from injustice or unfairness, things like that, or along those lines. This is like excuse the pun, because literally there are neon signs in this card, but this is like a blinding bright neon sign card that, yes, you're going to free people from something, and or yourself as well. Okay, free yourself maybe too from like some of the pain that you had, especially if you share a background with, say, the same kind of people that you're trying to help, or you've experienced that yourself. It's a freeing not just of your soul though, in that it's like a full circle. It almost kind of feels like a life lesson or a life purpose for you. One of them, pile 1. I always feel like people have multiple life purposes if you ask me, but sorry, I'm just tapping my timer here to make sure it doesn't go dark. 1 second. Yeah, it feels like a life purpose for you for sure. Like something that, because oftentimes that is entrenched in things that were done wrongly to us or not done correctly for us, and that a fulfilled life purpose, one of them can be that we go back and we fix that later in life for other people. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here for you, pile 1. It's kind of almost a life purpose reading on top of it. But yes, you'll be freeing people, and also too, especially with it being like depicted as a very cramped city. It's very like stuck together. It's rainy. It's kind of harsh too, especially with those really vivid red colors. We kind of see that as like red lights or stop signs. I wonder too if maybe you're trying to help something go faster as well, like a process go faster, because it's like I always associate red lights with, stop, or like, you slow down and you have to like, I don't know, there's like a lot of red tape or having to slow down and stop a bunch of times. But then with that Devil energy being reversed, it's like, okay, now we're freed. We're going to bring some green lights into this system. We're going to green light and get things going, and we're going to actually be able to get this a lot smoother and a lot faster. So it's not just freeing, but also things going quicker. You're going to improve a system very much so, I can tell you that. And then we have, look at that, another king. We have the King of Cups this time, though, with the King of Tides, as it's known in this particular deck. And that is wonderful, pile 1. Once again, I think that might represent you, too. I think at the very beginning of this, should you choose to pursue it, yes, you're going to have to be very logical, and you're going to have to be very communicative about what this thing is that you're passionate about to inspire others and help them kind of like, buy into the idea, right? But at the same time, at the end, really what it turns into is that more logical, strategical, tactician thinking and role that you play in the beginning, all the way to now you have the King of Cups, which is someone who is more of a leader in terms of connections with other people, in terms of relationships, in terms of feelings, in terms of emotions too. So I think you're not just going to fix a logistical problem, pile 1, if you do this. I think on top of it, you're going to fix like a very important emotional problem. And when I say too, by relationships and relationships and connectivity, typically I would interpret that on like a smaller level, like, one-on-one or with friend groups, family, etc., lovers. But at the same time, because so much of this has felt like a bigger societal problem that maybe you've been interested in fixing, that connectivity message and relationship message almost makes me think more about like it's on a societal level rather than like a one-on-one level with other people that you're trying to help like other people with. Okay, so on top of that, yeah, especially because it's an ocean. An ocean is so big. I wonder, this is kind of odd and out of the blue. Some of you, and you might not all resonate with this, but some of you at this, I feel like it might be, I don't know if it's technology related. Some of you, it might be technology related, because it's about connecting people in like big communication. I want to say like social media, but not in the way that social media can be toxic nowadays, as we all know. I mean, unfortunately, right? We all know the bad parts of social media as well, but, or even if it's not tech or social media or like you making an app or something, it's along the lines of you, like it just has a bigger impact. Like even if you play just a tiny role in it, which I don't know if you will, pile 1, this kind of feels like this would be a big role, but it's going to have a really big lasting impact. Because remember in the beginning, in the intro, I talked about this being like a ripple effect, and then in the very end you have like a whole ocean of like waves hitting shore. Like those ripples turn into bigger things, and then they swell bigger and bigger, and then finally it's like it's crashing on even distant shores in terms of its impact and in terms of how far it reaches. So it could even be global, I'm not sure, or at least, you know, big enough to cross a country. And, you know, obviously, you know, it depends on what personal goal that you have, but, you know, be it business, be it writing a book that you're interested about, you know, talking about these things. Like I said, too, if it's a charitable organization or something that you want to do, nonprofit, same thing, pile one. It's going to be so freeing. It's going to be so warmth giving too, impacting a lot of lives with this if you choose to do it. I think that's why Spirit really wants to push you towards it. You know, you always have free will, but Spirit does want to push you towards good things too, right? And all it takes really is just getting over that last little final hump of requiring some bravery and courage on your part. I don't think you're going to run into the conflict that you think you will with this. I think more people will buy into this than you're expecting, and or because of that King of Swords, I think you're going to communicate the value of this a lot better than you think you will. Okay, because a King of Swords is very good at convincing, is very good at getting people to agree, because he is such a master of communication, because he is like the King of Air, right? So... And then, too, with your openness card, like, I think people are going to be more open to this than you expect, okay? So, whatever it is, specifically, pile one, just know that should you want to, should you push past that little bit of fear, this could have a really, really positive influence on people's lives, okay? So, you almost kind of feel like, to me, like the, what's the word? You're like the philanthropic pile today. A lot of philanthropy in this pile is what I feel like. So you didn't get Justice, and you didn't get the Sun card, or the Six of Pentacles like I was thinking, but I don't know, I'm still feeling that for you, okay? So that was your reading for today on the small change or action you could take and the big ripple effect that it would have. If you liked the reading, if it helped you and it resonated, please like, please comment, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those three things to help this very tiny tarot channel out and growing bigger and bigger. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye, pile one. Hello there, pile number two. Welcome to your reading on a small action or change you could make that would have a bigger impact in the future reading. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the Spacious Tarot for your deck today. Now, if you're not familiar with my videos, when we choose with tarot decks, I like to put the pile leader right back into it so it's available for the message later if need be. However, we're actually going to start with my mini tarot today and just ask Spirit a little bit more about the context of this action and its ripple effect. Like, what area of life does it stem from? Different elements that might help you recognize. Well, that was not a very good shuffle. I'm gonna try that again. Anyways, different elements that will help you recognize like what part of your life this is all about, or where is it from. Okay, so calling on Spirit for the highest best good of pile two today. Could you tell me a little bit more about this thing? Thank you. This little action, this little change, like pebble in the water. And then of course later, like I said in the intro, we'll delve more into the ripple effect stemming from that, but let's begin here. So we have the King of Wands reversed. Interesting. I kind of feel a pattern forming across the piles today. Now, I've only recorded pile one, and then now I'm just recording you now, of course, you pile two, but I think a lot of you, this is really going to be a reading about inspiring confidence, so especially when King of Wands reversed came out. And then you have the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Yep. You know, I wonder if you struggle with accepting what you're worth or asking for what you're worth, pile two. That is what I'm feeling from these two cards, but let's keep going, of course. Then we have, the Five of Swords. That also was in pile one's reading today. However, you got it upright. You know, I wonder if you have a hard time asking for what you're worth because you're afraid of people arguing or having conflict with you. Maybe you tend to have a thing where you don't want to rock the boat. You're afraid if you ask for what you're worth that it will rock boats and people will get mad at you. And yes, we have the Star reversed, which is about losing hope or faith in something, feeling like something isn't worth it, feeling like something isn't in our favor. like something is not, like we just shouldn't hope for it. Like there's no chance whatsoever. Okay, so I'll tell you this, pile 2, very easily. I apologize, it's a bit repetitive because I already kind of explained it, but it's very short and sweet. Spirit's being blunt today. You need to take an action, or you don't need to, but you're encouraged to take an action or a change regarding the way you do not accept what you're worth. I say that because, and I'll explain, King of Wands reversed typically represents situations in our life where we're trying to externally manifest things. That's the masculine energy of especially the kings in tarot. That's like their main thing, is they're really good about the control and structure outside of themselves with that masculine energy, right? But he's reversed. He's having struggles with that. And on top of that, he's a Wands card, which is fire, which is all about our ambitions, the things we're passionate about, etc. So especially when it comes to things that you're ambitious or passionate about, pile 2, I think you struggle with confidence in that area, okay? I think you struggle with manifesting what you're looking for because we have the 9 of Pentacles reversed. That was a really big key when it came out. I was like, oh, okay. You probably heard it earlier. I was like, oh, that clicks, right? That's why I said to you, do you struggle with, accepting what you're worth? Because the 9 of Pentacles is all about getting the fruits of your labor. You have put all the effort in. You've, as I always say in my videos, you put the quarter in the gumball machine. You really should get the gumball out, right? But when she's reversed, the problem is that you put the quarter in and you're not getting the gumball. And I think because of the King of Wands reversed next to it, it's basically saying you put the quarter in, you don't get the gumball. And the other problem is that sometimes, or a lot of the time perhaps, you don't even say anything about it. You don't say, hey, wait a minute, hey, whoever manages this gumball machine, metaphorically speaking, right? I put a quarter in. Could you hand me that gumball that I worked so hard for? Especially because the 9 of Pentacles comes after the 8 of Pentacles in tarot, right? Naturally. And the 8 of Pentacles is all about, we've been hard at work at something. Oftentimes it's depicted by like a blacksmith's apprentice, right? Hammering away. Nose to the grindstone. So yes, you should get the fruits of your labor, pile 2. However, I think your issue with it is that you're afraid of conflict. Okay, you might be a little bit of a people pleaser, which no hate, no chastisement. I'm like that myself. I think a lot of people struggle with like people-pleasing tendencies, right? But the problem is that then it hurts your optimism. You feel as if you don't deserve anything. You feel as if you, like there's just no hope or faith in the future for you ever getting what you're worth because, well, people are just going to get mad about it. I don't want to rock the boat. It's things like that, okay? So, like I said, it's not a chastising reading from Spirit. They're not saying, how dare you? Because, I mean, myself included, but a lot of people across the world, a lot of people struggle with this. Is people pleasing, we don't rock the boat. So I can already tell you, of course, we have other cards to draw, which I'll start doing that now while I talk, but I can already tell you, I think the small action or change you could make here, pile 2, is to ask for more. And we'll see what ripple effect that will have. I am going to guess it's probably going to be maybe financial benefit or career benefit, but we'll see. Let's keep going. Spirit, can you tell me more about this for pile 2? This not getting their gumball after they put the quarter in the machine situation. Was that New Beginnings? I think that was New Beginnings, I'm pretty sure. Yes, okay. Especially you might struggle with that. Like, I don't know if some of you have started a new job recently. Maybe you've been struggling with, like, or you're about to accept a job, but maybe they're offering less pay than you're worth or less pay than you were looking for. Or maybe you've, like, historically done that a lot because New Beginnings makes me think of that, like, this crops up a lot when you're starting new things, okay? Or, 2, I wonder if it might be a focus on, like, you always feel like the eternal student or you always feel like the eternal newbie. It kind of makes me think of, what's that called? Imposter syndrome. And that's basically, in short terms, imposter syndrome, if you're not familiar, is when you always feel like an imposter. You never feel like you're actually as good at things as like normally you would think you are. Okay, like you're like, oh, there's no way, I'm not good at that. I mean, you could be doing something for like 20 years, pile 2, and you still be like, I don't know, I mean, I'm not that good, right? It's that kind of attitude, okay? The feeling is if I'm not good. So that's why I say that, because of New Beginnings. It's like that feeling of like I'm always at the dawn of something. I'm always at the sunrise of something. I never feel like I'm at the end. I never feel like I'm at, especially with the 9 of Pentacles, because that's more of end energy card. That's, okay, I already put in all the work. I already went through the whole work day with this, metaphorically speaking, and now I'm ready for the sunset. I'm ready for the rest. I'm ready for enjoying my time or my resources that I've earned, things like that. So I think too, part of we're getting into the ripple effect as well. Like, should you choose to stand up for yourself more in this area of life, it will open a whole new world for you, pile 2. I mean, New Beginnings is all about, okay, here's a new sunrise, here's a new chapter, here's something new coming forward in terms of life, maybe even completely changing. Okay, I know that sounds broad and vague because we'll of course get more cards to explain, but what I mean is I think up until this point you've been so afraid or lacking the confidence to ask for what you're worth that it feels like a never-ending chapter of being undervalued. And so if you choose to do this, then you have that new beginning, that dawn of the new chapter, a new page turning in terms of, okay, we're not going to be undervalued anymore. And, well, speaking of that, yes, and you know why? Because you'll also get abundance. Pile 2. We have number 36, abundance. Speaking of 9s, because 3 plus 6 is 9, we have 9 here with the 9 of Pentacles, which I always interpret as, fulfillment. The fulfillment of something, getting that gumball out of that machine, metaphorically speaking. And, that's the thing, too, is I think that is specifically a lotus. Sure looks like it. And lotuses are, especially, I at least, once again, personally associate them with achievement a lot because, like a lot of water flowers like that, they have to grow up through the mud and the muck before they get up to the surface and bloom and blossom and shine and be so brilliant and vibrant, and they're all pretty, right? But they did the work to get there, didn't they? They went through that mud and that muck and that gloom. Just like you did, that 8 of Pentacles energy of, like I talked about, you didn't get the 8 of Pentacles, but it's before the 9 of Pentacles, right? Of the apprentice, the blacksmith, hammering away at something. So why not get the abundance for your labor? Okay. Could also be some of you are actually at a job currently right now that does not pay you very well. You're not treated very well. You're not given, the responsibility or the title that you're supposed to. So it might not just be like literal funds here. Pile 2, it could also be metaphorical funds as well in terms of, as I said, like the respect you deserve, the title you deserve, as I said. It's whatever abundance looks like to you in life that you feel as if you have been cheaped out on. Okay. Or maybe even some of you don't even feel like you got cheaped out on it because you're so humble. You're so like, oh, I don't know, you get that imposter syndrome. Well, humility is great. I was going to say, don't be humble. Humility is great, though, but too much humility then turns into people walking all over you, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish society didn't do that, but they do. So, like I said, I feel like it really, because if you do this change, it will lead to greater abundance, just like your abundance card says. But, of course, we'll do your main tarot spread just to be sure. Spirit, what else do you want to say about this situation? Thank you. Why else should they do this? Other than getting that gumball they deserve. Or on top of that, we have 6 of Cups reversed. I think for those of you that struggle with this, it's because of your past. I wonder if as a child, because the 6 of Cups reversed is often about bad family influences or sibling influences from when we were young or our past, right? I wonder if as a child you often were undervalued or you'd put a lot of work in, but you weren't aptly rewarded for it in terms of, it could be your parents, like maybe like your parents didn't do that for you, or it could also be in general, like you were overlooked a lot in life when you were a child, and so you're so used to being overlooked and so used to being ignored. I wonder if you might get the 4 of Cups too, we'll see. But you're still being so used to being overlooked and undervalued that it just comes naturally to you. So this feels like a deep childhood reason as to why you do this. And I think that's why Spirit wants you to make this change, if you so choose, of course. You have free will, but you don't have to hang on to that anymore, Pile 2. And then we have the 3 of Cups and other people as well. Other people were an influence in this too. 3 of Cups is often about social events, groups of people, our interactions with other people, especially being Cups, which is water, which is all about relationships and connections and tarot, feelings and things like that too. And, I wonder if it was that you, either as a child, you had a sibling that was put on a pedestal a lot and you were not. And so inherently that taught you as if you felt like you didn't deserve more. Or some of you, it might have been the absolute best was so expected out of you that you feel as if the absolute best 110% effort, you feel as if like you here's what I'm trying to say. Like most people would go in and give like 80% or give like 100% effort, and they would expect to get 80% value or reward or 100% value back. Hopefully 100% effort, 100% value, right? Or reward back for it. You, pile 2, feel like to me as if because of your childhood, you would put in 110% and you were trained to expect back maybe 0 even percent. Okay, that's what I'm feeling because of that. And I say that because of the way the cups here almost feel like they're ranked. Like it's like gold, it's silver, and then it's like a different color. Like, you think of trophies. I don't know, maybe a lot of you were very high achievers too when you were young. And maybe you still are. I think you still are, based on the cards that I've been seeing here. And that's great. However, you should be rewarded justly for that high achievement. Pile 2 is what Spirit is saying here, okay? Then we have the Sun reversed, and it led to unhappiness. It led to a lack of truth as well. That's usually what the Sun reversed represents. Okay. Also, it can mean, too, that I think some of you have an issue with letting yourself shine. And I think it's that humility thing cropping up again. It's, as I said, humility is a great quality, pile 2. Humility is one of my favorite traits in other people and in myself as well. So I get it. I'm like, oh, being humble is great. But at the same time, you can be so humble that it's like putting a curtain or a shroud over yourself and never standing out. And it's sad in terms of, not that you don't stand out because of your high achievement here, pile 2. I'm not saying that. I think people have noticed that you are high achieving and that you're skilled in things. But at the same time, as I said, it's like putting a shroud or a curtain around yourself when, I don't know, it's like you're trying to disguise yourself as a black hole when really you should be shining bright. I don't know, what's the brightest star? Sirius is the brightest star in the sky. There you go. Be as bright as Sirius, okay? Or let yourself shine as bright as Sirius, the star, right? Because, speaking of stars, I just realized too, yeah, you have the star reversed. I remembered that from earlier. Okay, speaking of those. Yeah, it's like you don't let people see your light enough, pile 2, and you should let that shine out more, okay? Because it's the truth. Here's the thing, humility is great, like I said, but if you really are that good at something, it's not bad to speak the truth of, hey, I'm good at this thing, or I deserve this thing because of all the effort that I put in. Whenever you hesitate to be more confident about something, or whenever you hesitate to ask for more based on the effort that you've put in, like more, recompensation for things, etc., more, more respect, more acknowledgement maybe is another thing too. Whenever you hesitate on that, say to yourself, well, if it's the truth that I did ABC or I am this good at XYZ, why would I be ashamed of the truth? Okay, so just remember that. Keep that as a mantra in your back pocket, because I think that will help a lot with this. Now we're going into the ripple effect of this. So what will happen should you choose to do this? Be more confident, ask for more of what you're worth. Obviously, abundance is one of them, but we'll keep going. Also, new beginning, new chapter in your life. We have the Magician reversed. Okay, so typically I would read this as a negative card, but we're asking about what's going to improve, right? And the Magician reversed is, in an improvement, what is blocked now in terms of your manifestation will then open up. Because I almost read this like a timeline. Right now you're on the timeline of not manifesting, hence why it's reversed. But should you choose to change this, then it would turn right side up, pile 2. All of a sudden, you would have the resources you need to manifest your desires, manifest your dreams, the thing that you want. Because finally, you'll be asking people, hey, wait a minute, give me what I'm worth here, okay? Come on. I don't care if it's money. I don't care if it's praise. I don't care if it's acknowledgement, respect. Like I said, pile 2, you deserve it, okay? This is what Spirit is telling you, all right? And that will help you bypass some of the blocks you've had to your goals thus far. Okay, that's another thing with the Magician, too, because he is a manifester, right? That's why he's called the Magician. He literally creates something from nothing, at least seemingly, right? Although part of what he does is he collects the resources around him, since, wands, cups, pentacles, and swords. He collects those around him, and then all of a sudden, now he has all the materials he has to create what it is that he's desiring. Okay, so Spirit is saying they want that for you, but the gateway to that is knock the humility door down, okay? All right, and then last but not least, we have, yes, okay, the Chariot reverse, which once again, normally would be negative, but in a reading like this, after you make the change, this is what's blocked right now will then turn upright. So the Chariot reversed, my friends, in this position, in this particular reading would mean It's kind of similar to the Magician in that it's about your goals, but the Chariot is more about forward momentum and progress, okay? I think, you know what? Here's a question to ask yourself. Have you been running into a lot of really weird obstacles in your life? Does it always feel as if there's always something in your way when it comes to making progress or when it comes to manifesting what it is that you desire, okay? And when I say that, is it, like getting a business off the ground or getting attention for something that you put out there into, the ether for people to enjoy or get attention on, creative project, whatever it might be, music, writing, etc. If you felt those obstacles pile too, this is part of why. You don't toot your own horn enough, okay? So basically, to summarize, your spirit's just like, okay, we're going to get you a trumpet, and we're going to put it to your lips, and we're going to need you to blow. We're going to need you to toot your horn a little bit more, because that will unblock these things. And all of a sudden, you'll find this abundance. You'll find this wellspring of, now I can manifest this thing I'm looking for, and now I can make progress on this thing I'm looking for, okay? Because you finally stood up for yourself and said, I did ABC, therefore I deserve X, Y, Z. Okay? And if you're afraid of going too hog wild with it, trust me, with your level of humility, pile 2, you'll probably still have to push yourself to keep asking for what you're worth. You're never going to go hog wild with it or get too greedy. Okay, I promise you. You don't have that personality, I can tell based on these cards and this particular reading, okay? So, just like the lotus, if you worked through the mud, why shouldn't you get to see the sunlight? Right? If you worked through the mud, why shouldn't you get to see the abundance? And then, once you change that, once you stand up for yourself more, you'll see that ripple effect of almost rocket speed progress, okay? It'll feel, to me, being shown, it's like, before it felt like every step was taking a walk through molasses or muck, mud, whatever you prefer. And then afterwards, it'll go from, I'm stepping through mud to, okay, now I'm going to get a rocket. I'm going to jet fuel speed ship forward with my goals. Just from this one tiny change. Hence, the title of the reading, it was a ripple effect from something that you could do today. So that's your answer for your reading today, pile 2. Toot your horn, okay? And you'll see far more abundance in your future if you choose to do so. So, I hope that reading helped you, number 1. I hope that you liked it. I hope it resonated with your situation too. If so, please like, please comment, please subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those things. As Lone Pine Tarot is a small tarot channel on YouTube, so every bit of your interaction and, every time you subscribe, every time you comment, like, etc. does help so much, so I thank you if you choose to do that. As I said, and as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 2. And I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading on a ripple effect, if you so choose to make one small action or change today. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the pile leader of the Justice card from the Cat's Eye Tarot. But if you're not familiar with my videos, when we choose with tarot decks, I like to put the main pile leader right back into it, so it is available for the message if need be. But we're actually going to start with the mini or pocket tarot today. First, to ask Spirit more context about what area of your life this change and ripple effect is pertaining to. I guess is probably the best way to put that. So let's do that now. Calling on Spirit for the highest best good of pile 3 today. Could you tell me a little bit more about what area of their life this is all about? Okay, well that was quick. Looks like maybe 3 cards already. We'll see. We have, let's see, yes, 3. Okay, first up we have the 4 of Swords. Second up we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Third up to bat, we have the Ace of Swords reversed. And last but not least, we have... drawn to this one. Look at those aces. You have the Ace of Cups reversed too, pile 3. Okay, let me think about this for just a moment. Let's see. It's an area of your life where you've been having a really hard time making breakthroughs recently. A really hard time not only getting breakthroughs though, but also blessings. And I say that not just because of the Ace of Cups reverse, which can mean like, because, I mean, the traditional depiction here literally is a cup, you know, running and floweth over, right? Reverse, it's like, my cup might feel kind of bare recently, especially when it comes to new things and new opportunities, being an ace card. And on top of that, the Ace of Swords reversed can also mean having some issues with a breakthrough, having some issues finding ideas or finding ways to maneuver around things or start things, especially when it comes to mental energy or air energy, being a swords card, which can mean, you know, like, as I said, new ideas or having a hard time communicating something new. And on top of that, you have the Wheel of Fortune reverse, which typically means just kind of like what it says on the tin when we think, oh, fortune but reversed. We haven't been having so much luck with something recently. And I almost wonder if a lot of it too, because of the Four of Swords that came out, and this is actually the interesting part, because the Four of Swords is typically about sleeping, it's about rest, something finally being put down for a bit. But because of the combination with the other cards, pile 3, I wonder if it's something that you gave up on either recently or long ago because of a lack of success or a lack of breakthrough. But I think still, though, it's near and dear to your heart. I wonder if you still think about it to this day. Be it, you know, from years ago, or it could even be something that happened recently too. But either way, it's something that you feel as if you have put to rest. You put it down. You're like, well, it makes me think of, for some reason, they're bringing up the, like in the pioneer days of America, there were people that crossed the entire country from, you know, East Coast over to the West to find gold. Like the gold rush is like the main thing. Or you know, they talk about the Oregon Trail too. If you ever played that game, like old computer game from like the 90s, which is still fun to this day, I still think. But I'm bringing that up because it feels like they're showing me like you having gone out and prospected and tried to find something in terms of this metaphorical gold rush, yet even after buying all this equipment and trying to get this off the ground and running, it felt as if you'd never ever found that fabled ore or vein of gold that you were looking for. Kept panning, nothing panned out. So you put it down. However, I'll tell you this. I think this is where this reading is going. I think they might be telling you to pick it back up again, pile 3, but we'll see. Okay, so that's the context. Something you feel very unlucky with. Something you felt as if fortune was not turning in your favor. Had a hard time getting it started, especially with 2 aces reversed. You put it to rest. But I think they're going to tell you. I already know, pile 3. We'll see, though. We'll take the cards, of course, but using your Oracle decks next. Okay, first up we have the Sacred Destiny. Spirit, what else do you want to tell pile 3 about this thing that they put to rest? Okay, that one almost came out, so I'm going to take it. It's about ready just to fly. We have Voyage. So for some of you, this actually might have been related to travel of some sort, or it might have been something that was a voyage in terms of quite a big move, even if it wasn't a physical move or like physical travel in some way. And it's interesting because it's a whale carrying like a baby whale beneath it. Carrying our dreams, carrying our hopes. But it felt as if you couldn't get it off the ground. You couldn't, because especially I see it as with it being a whale and its baby within the air and not in the water where they're supposed to be naturally. It's like having a hard time like getting it out of the ground. But then should you choose to return to it, it was like finally you could get it out of that water. You could prevent it from being stuck in some way. I'm curious. Let's keep going. I do see, too, there is a full moon at the top there, although it's a bit obscured. And full moons, at least to me, tend to represent like the zenith or the fulfillment of something, being like the peak of a cycle as well. But being obscured is, I wonder, too, if you put it down because you thought, well, you know, the time for that is kind of past. Like, oh, well, I already kind of missed my boat, or I missed that particular boat. Something along that line. Like you thought, I don't know. I'll put that away. I almost wonder if you think either, like, no one would be interested in that thing anymore, or, like, you think you're too old to do it? I don't know, or, like, you feel like that ship has sailed. I don't know, something along those lines. Restriction. You're holding yourself back, though. Okay, pile 3. We have Restriction Joy Guides number 38. Especially with that number 8 and 3 on top of it. And restriction is all about holding ourselves back. It's about, there's so much more you could be attaining and achieving if you didn't hold yourself back with this. And I know that's really hard to think about pile 3, because when we're faced with failure, and maybe even repeated failure, maybe that's part of also why you put this down. When we're faced with that, it is very difficult to say to ourselves, you know what, I'm going to keep trying and get back up again, though, because sometimes we read it as a sign from the universe that, well, maybe it wasn't just meant for me. Or maybe it just, something wasn't supposed to be mine. It wasn't in my fate. It wasn't in my destiny. Hence the Wheel of Fortune reversed as well, because sometimes the Wheel of Fortune reversed can mean a situation where we feel as if it was not in our fate. It wasn't in our favor. It wasn't something that was supposed to be ours. But I don't know. I'm feeling, like I said, pile 3. I think it's not necessarily that it wasn't supposed to be yours. It just wasn't supposed to be yours at that point. I wonder if your main tarot cards might say more about why that is. Of course, we'll draw those with the Cat's Eye Tarot, but I'm curious. I think Spirit might tell us why it was a wait. So let's see. Restricting yourself. Actually, though, before we do that, I apologize. I'm going to draw one more clarifier on the restriction, because I want to know more about, what's restricting. I think it's self-restriction, number 1, but let's ask. Okay, Spirit, can you give me a clarifier, please, on the restriction card? Thank you. Okay, that's the one. Oh, look at that, another ace reversed. A lack of spark, losing enthusiasm, burnout. It killed your desire for it, didn't it? You thought, you know what? Not succeeding just killed my enthusiasm. Which is relatable. I'm not shaming you for that, pile 3. That is very relatable. We've all done that before, I think, in things in life. But at the same time, sometimes we let that ship sail before that sail of failure, we launch it a little bit too soon. And then we have the Knight of Cups reversed. Yep. You said, I'm not going to romanticize this anymore. I'm not going to take action on my heart anymore. Some of you, that could also mean it is related to a relationship and not necessarily just a project. A lot of you, this could be many different things too. I forgot to mention that earlier. I should have mentioned that earlier. I apologize. But it could have been, like a relationship you gave up on. It could have been a, like an ideal that you gave up on. It could have been a business you gave up on, a project you gave up on, goal, etc. Because you felt so unenthused. Oh, especially with those aces reversed. It's having 3 aces reversed like this is like, I really think you were trying to get something new started and it just would not kick. And then, yeah, Ace of Wands reversed. I said you lost your spark. That's why you restricted yourself, because you just completely lost your enthusiasm. You were like, nope. You're like, I'm not going to keep going if there's absolutely no outside validation here that this is actually ever going to take off. So yeah, let's look at your main tarot spread here, because that'll tell us more about the specific action they want you to take and the ripple effect. Although, like I said, I think I already know they want to tell you to pick it up again, but we'll see. Spirit, what else do you want to say about this situation? Actually, I haven't used the Cat's Eye Tarot in a very long time. I felt drawn to it today. Maybe you like cats, but relatable. I also love cats. We have the Empress in the very beginning. Could be something related to motherhood. Could be something related to feminine energy. That is typically what the Empress is about. We see the mother cat with her kittens there. It could also be something related. It's interesting too, because the whale also has a baby with it. And, when I say baby in tarot or motherhood, it could literally mean, having a physical child, right? But it can also mean something along the lines of a baby in terms of a goal or a project that you have too. Something that, whether it is in the womb literally or something that is outside of the womb, it's something that you nurture and you take care of and you help it grow, right? Be it project or a literal kid, of course. Can also mean too that maybe, I don't know, it's maybe something you learned from your mother too. Like you learned this thing, like say if it was a small business and I don't know, maybe it was selling like knitted items for an example, or if it was selling like handmade stuff, like you might have learned that how to do that thing from your mother. So it didn't feel like you just disappointed yourself. You could have also maybe felt as if you disappointed her too. Let's keep going. I'm very curious. Then we have look at that, we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Yeah. You're like, man, there is no way I am not getting any success with this. We literally have it's a calico and a tuxedo cat, and they find a bunch of mice. Now, the mice have found a bunch of cheese, and they're having a Wheel of Fortune moment, and the cats have found a bunch of mice, and they're having a grand old time, right? Because they love that. And there's even an owl up here, too, who also eats mice. So it's like, man, finally found our fortune. We have a feast tonight. However, but reversed, it's like, I do not have that feast. It was complete famine. No wonder why you were unenthused. I even wonder, because of the abundance of 2 Wheels of Fortunes reversed, pile 2, or sorry, pile 3, not pile 2. I said 2 because I was thinking of the 2 cards. I wonder if it even really sets you back in terms of finances as well. Like, it was a major setback of you to try this in the first place. So no wonder why you're reluctant to even touch it again. But at the same time, I feel like it was just really bad luck, and or it was just not the right time for it. That's why. And then we have the 3 of Swords reversed. We are overcoming a time of pain. Upright, it's looks like even snow. A time of snow, a time of pain, a time of even famine too, because it's like a food bowl that's tossed over. There's no food left in it. But reversed, it's all about overcoming that pain, pile 3, okay? Overcoming that pain, you've been healing, you've been recovering from the wounds of whatever this was. And so I think that's how you see it now, is like, oh, it's just that thing that caused me pain that I've had to heal from. But let's see where it goes. All right. See what the ripple effect is. We have Judgment. The 2 beautiful Siamese kitties. Love Siamese cats. I love all of them. But Judgment is all about positive judgment in your favor. It's also about leveling up. I often call it like the level up card. It's also often related to spiritual matters, pile 3. So I almost wonder if you're kind of like pile 1 today with this. If this is actually related to a life lesson in terms of when you have a goal and you come across a massive failure and or setback, or it is very difficult the first time or 2 or few times that you've tried. What do you do with that goal? Do you give it up? Do you put it down? Or do you keep running and going? I almost see it as like a boxing match where you kept getting hit down. And the life lesson here is to keep getting up even after it kept punching you down, which is very difficult. Like I said, I'm not chastising you, and neither is Spirit for this, pile 3, because this is a very difficult life lesson to learn. But that Judgment card makes me think this is more of a spiritual soul level thing for you. And should you choose to pick it up again, you might find a level up from your last experience. But let's keep going. Let's see what your final card is today. We have Temperance reversed. Okay, so in this position, I typically would read this as an imbalance or something being out of moderation. Okay, but because this is a reading of, if you do something, what's going to improve from here, what will change because of it, like I said, the ripple effect, I read that as like this is a timeline, right? And this is the energy right now, should you continue on this path with this outcome card. So right now, something will remain out of balance. Something will remain unmoderated. Something will feel as if it's kind of helter-skelter or, lopsided one way in your life. However, if you choose to take this change, to heal from the pain of this, right? To choose to level up and partake in this life lesson of getting back up when you've been beaten down again, which is hard. And you always have free will. You don't have to do it, pile 3. There's no, like, oh, you should, how dare you, right? I'll never say that with a tarot reading, but should you choose to do so, then you would find the Temperance card upright, and you would find that balance, almost like yin and yang here with the black and the white cat together spinning around in very adorable cuddles, of course. And especially, too, even when you look at, they're sitting there on the, I don't know, I call that a banister, a balustrade, something like that. Railing, I guess, is probably a better word to use. Sitting there on the railing, on the edge, they're perfectly balanced there, using each other to keep on. So you would find that balance, you would find that, I don't know, I feel like you were so passionate about this thing that not doing it is like ripping out a piece of yourself. It just doesn't feel right not to do it, but at the same time, there's been such massive failure in the past that you're like, well, I feel like you think to yourself, well, I'd be stupid to do it even if it hurts my soul and it feels imbalanced soul-wise not to do it. But you feel that pull for a reason, pile 3. You feel that draw for a very important reason. And should you choose to pick it up again, to recover from the wounds of it, when you can, there's no rush to. That's another thing here is I feel like this isn't an immediate, you have to do this today. This can be a very slow process of, you know, as I said, healing from the wounds, a very slow process of recovering, like even if you lost finances over this thing or money over this thing. Doesn't have to be a big, brand new thing. You can just take it one step, one pebble at a time, one grain of sand, and let that goal accumulate, though, over time. Like sand in an hourglass, to continue the sand metaphor. There is no running out of time with goals in life. There is no hourglass waiting for you or saying, you know, you have to do this by this certain age, or you have to have done it right exactly 100% the first time. Okay, there's no pressure like that. All you're required with this life lesson is to at least attempt again if you would like to, like I said, free will, right? But at the same time, it would bring so much more of that balance and that contentment and that soul-fulfilled purpose to your life if you choose to do so. Okay. I'm going to draw one more card. I'm feeling drawn to that for you. Spirit, for pile 3 today, what's the long-lasting effects should they choose to do this and the physical effects of it? Not just the soul purpose, but I know that's important, don't get me wrong, but what's the physical ripple effect from this? Physical ripple effect. Okay, so once again, normally would be read differently, but with this specific question, the 8 of Cups reversed would mean something that you're having a hard time moving away from now, you would finally be able to leave in your past. And I wonder if it is a feeling of being a failure or a feeling of unfulfillment that you would finally be able to leave behind. Okay, yep, it would reduce conflict, reduce fighting with yourself over letting something go or keeping it in, and then yet reducing anxiety. It would really help your mental health too, pile 3, with that 9 of Swords reversed especially. I think it might even haunt you. It might even haunt you a little bit, pile 3. If you picked it up again, though, you would find that anguish gone. That is what I'll end on with your reading today, okay? If you pick it up again, you'll find the anguish gone. All right? So, that was your reading for today on, as I said, small action or change you could take today that would have a ripple effect in the future. If you liked it, if it resonated, if it helped you in some way, that's my number one goal, of course, with these readings. Please like, please comment, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those things as Lone Pine Tarot. You can tell by the little subscriber count right beneath the video. I guess it's down this way or something like that. Very tiny channel, so every little bit of interaction like that does help a lot, which is why I'm always very grateful for every single one, like, comment, subscription, etc. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 3, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye.